We'd ask the finance officer to take the roll.
Councilman Clay,
Here.
Councilman Hughes, Councilman Clunt, Councilman Miners,
Present.
Councilman Schuyler,
Present.
and Councilman Shaheen.
Okay, having 4 people here gives us a quorum. I would now ask if you'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would ask the council people if they have any conflicts of interest for tonight's meeting. Hearing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. First off, we're going to remove item number 3 from your consent agenda. Please delete item number 3. Then I would look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Schuyler, second by
I'll second it, Mr. Mayor.
Clay. All in favor, any discussion on the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And now item number E, the meeting agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Miners, second by? I'll second. By Shaheen. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That motion carries. Item number F, as at all meetings, we have a 10-minute window allocated for public input. Would anybody here like to get up and make any comments they like to the council? Seeing nobody rush to the microphone, we'll move on to new hires. If we could ask the finance officer to report those for us.
We had 3 new hires. Kylie Olson was hired part-time in the corrections department, starting at $21.64 an hour. Robert McCready was hired part-time for the admin building, starting wage $17.98 an hour. And then Kayla Natoli was hired full-time in the corrections department, starting at $23.56 an hour.
Very good, thank you. Under department reports, Public Works Director Troy Kruger, you drew the short straw, get to be first.
Just like to make note that Mr. McCready's just on loan for now. He will be coming back to the Parks Department. Water and sewer. South Dakota Rural Water brought their valve exerciser out, and we ran that around town for a little bit. Worked on exercise some different areas of town, valves, installing some new piping for our east booster. That's up there on the east side of the football field. We've got, we put that booster in a couple years ago, and we've got a bypass line in there that we're gonna replace. Broken valve box on Liberty Spruce and First Street we replaced. Curb stop leak at 233 Lamb Row. We had a couple of times we had to do a little light snow removal. Meter readings, monthly samples, our monthly meter readings. There was an awning that came off the building on 338 South Main Street, and we helped them get that down. And then we had some homeowners that had some issue with this cold weather. And on that note, I got a few phone calls, and this happens every time of the year when we get this really cold weather like this. Some of the homes around town that have crawl spaces or basements that are not heated, even in some homes that don't have well insulated walls. It's a good idea to just, when it gets really cold like that, to just maybe leave a faucet on, just a little bit of water just dripping through it, just keep that water moving so it won't freeze. Hot hot water lines always freeze faster than cold water lines, so even though you think it might be a little bit of an expense to leave your water running, if you can just leave it on at a fast drip, it'll keep that water line from freezing, and it'll save you a lot of money in the long run when it comes to frozen pipes. So, and be aware of that. We had some people that this year that just forgot to plug in their heat trace tapes, and they have frozen lines. So cold temperatures and water, be aware of that. Parks and Cemetery working on, they're mending up the backstops for the ball fields. Funerals, like I said, a little bit of snow removal, service work on equipment. They've been working on the Leahy Bowl sprinkler system. We replaced a pump out there, and then we're doing some work to the shed to keep the elements out. Light department, organizing their shop, clean vehicles, fixed, they had some issues with one of their trucks, wiper pump, or the wiper motor, and then they've got a water pump out, so they've been working on that. They had some, they're finishing up with their 2024 project up here around Roosevelt Street, up in that area, in 7th, 8th, 9th. And so they terminated, set some more boxes and pulled in some more wires to get that project completed. And we had one outage over at West Haven in the last 2 weeks, and then we had a fire out there. We just did abandon a line out there. There's no one on it anymore. That last trailer that burned down was the last one that could have actually been using that line, so we've terminated that. Fixed meters that weren't logging in. Streets and sanitation, moved a little snow, sanded the streets a couple times, slippery conditions, working on equipment. The recycle center's been busy. The trailers are adding to that. We've been dumping those. We did start working on the dog pound. Got the footings and the knee wall up, and materials are ordered. We'll start putting that together up in the north shop this week, and then looks like our forecast is pretty good for next week. Maybe we'll be able to get out there and get some walls up and make some progress on that. I put out 3 bids this week. One is for mill and overlay, another one's miscellaneous concrete, and a third was curb and gutter. And we currently have positions open in the water and sewer department, the streets department, and sanitation. Any questions? Thank you.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Kruger. Next department report will be given to us by Public Safety Commissioner Mitch Miller, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. You can see the first page on the report that I pressed out to you was the Corrections Department. Today's count is 156, and in the parentheses you can note that that is the federal prisoners that are on hand. So you can see the 156 is a kind of a common number for this report. A lot of activity this month. You can see there were 130 different inmates that were processed at our city jail. Troop movements of 40. That's quite high as well. Provider visits from our regional hospital were 3, and 30 inmates were seen there, as well as 21 monthly mental health visits. Revenue cycle, $426,607 was billed out for the month of December, and transport costs $10,436. Couple points just for information on the bottom. One of our new hires, Mr. Hawk, is in week 7 of his FTO. We were able to have a defense instructor course here in our facility here by Officer Brian Reimers. 7 correctional staff received that. That is one of the big pushes and focal points that I am going to work with, is to get a lot more training going on. Third point, just for information at this time, Hanson County, which is just east of Mitchell, requested a contract, and a draft has been sent to them. They're going to use us as a secondary, probably a third option, just in case they need a facility from time. We will keep you posted if that comes back. And this is more so for the community that is listening. Tomorrow morning, we are going to be testing our sirens at 10 o'clock. Again, that is tomorrow morning. I just wanted to give you a brief update on the following pages of fiscal year 2024 that just ended. And I just wanted you just to real briefly look at the departments that I work with. My handwritten notes, that's what I want you to concentrate on. Fire department is the first one. We're going to go from the smallest department to the biggest department. Fire department had $7,689 that they did not use, so they turned that back in. Flip the page, please. The code enforcement department turned back in $14,256 out of their budget. And then the third, if you don't mind, the law enforcement budget, they turned in $91,927 back in. And then the communications budget, they turned back in $144,811. And then finally, the corrections department or our municipal jail, they turned in $394,994. So you add them all up, it's a significant, probably about a 8 to 10%. And a lot of that, yes, is due to wages that they were running short sometimes. But they spent less than what they budgeted. And I just wanted you to see that. Any questions on anything that I talked about, Mr. Mayor or council?
Maybe not so much as a question as it is a statement. It's great to see that the people that we have employed were able to manage and run those departments while they're being understaffed, short-staffed, but that can lead to job burnout. You know, we need to get those positions filled.
Yes, sir.
That's my comment on that.
We are doing our best. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Now we'd call on the Finance Officer, Harley Koenig, please.
Okay, so we have an alcohol beverage application for a special event. There will be a wedding at the community center here on October 4th, 2025. There will also be a special event at the 4-H Center February 15th, and that event is the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Banquet from 5 to 10 p.m. And then just to give an end-of-the-year budget review for the council and for public's knowledge for that 2024. Starting with the expenses, we had a current total budget, budgeted $18,253,329.97. And then the actual fiscal activity, our expenses, was $16,980,258.36. So we used or spent 93.03% of the budget. And then for revenues, a couple of the departments' revenues came in more than what was projected. For water, revenues came in $108,000 more than what we had thought. Sewer revenues came in $167,000 more. And then for the jail, revenues came in a little over $558,000 more than what was projected. And then the revenues looked good and the projections were good for other departments as well. And across all departments, the bottom line shows projected revenues. So what we projected for the year was $17,133,276, and that actual number was $18,724,889.28. So across all departments, the projections were higher. Ultimately, and then overall, there was a good projection for the 2024 fiscal year activity when the budget was created. So any questions on that? Okay.
Very good, thank you, Harley. There are no bid openings tonight, no Board of Adjustments, so no old business. We'll move right into new business. New business, item number 1. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve District 3 2025 agreement and have the mayor sign.
Motion by Skylar, do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a second to approve that.
Second by Miners. Discussion. This will be a roll call vote. Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
Skylar,
Aye.
Shaheen,
Yes.
there's 4 of us. Okay, that's all we have. Okay, that motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Item number 2 is an amount of $10,000 according to our budget. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to donate $10,000 to Winter Resource Center.
I'll second.
Motion by Clay, second by Shaheen to donate $10,000 as budgeted to the Winter Resource Center. This will also be roll call. Miners,
Yes.
Skylar,
Aye.
Shaheen.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I need to back out on that one. I have a conflict of interest on that
abstain.
one.
Okay, very good, thank you. Can't understand why that would be. And Clay.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Mr. Attorney. We have 4 councilmen here, we only have 3 that are able to vote, is that binding?
We should move it till next time.
I'm sorry?
We should move that till next time,
Okay, then,
when we have,
according to attorney's advice, we will move that donation to the next meeting when we have 4 eligible voters, for lack of a better word, okay? Thank you for that. So the donation to Winter Resource Center will be on next month's agenda. Okay, item number 3 is in the amount of $6,984 as per budgeted. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to donate $6,984 to T4 Foundation.
And do we have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Skylar, second by Clay to donate $6,984 to T4 Foundation. This will be a roll call vote, starting with Skylar.
Aye.
Shaheen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
and Miners.
Yes.
Very good, that motion carries 4-0. Item number 4, a donation which is $18,064, which was budgeted. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I motion to donate $18,064 to Main Gate Council.
Motion by Shaheen, and a second.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that second.
Second by Miners to donate $18,064 to Main Gate Counseling. This will start with Shaheen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
and Skylar.
Aye.
That motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much. Item number 5, which is $25,000. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to donate the budgeted amount of $25,000 to the Winter Area Chamber.
Motion by Clay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
I knew Skylar was going to second it. Second by Skylar. And we'll start this round with Clay
Yes.
and Miners
Yes.
and Skylar
Aye.
and Shaheen.
Yes.
All ayes, that motion carries. Item number 6, the budget amount of $31,900. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to donate $31,900 to the South Central Economic Development.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Skylar. Motion by Clay, second by Skylar, to donate $31,900 to South Central Economic Development. Let's see. Trying to keep track of where I start at. Shaheen, is it your turn? You're
I don't
first.
know. Yes.
And Clay,
Yes.
and Miners,
Yes.
and Skylar.
Aye.
Very good. That motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
we kind of skipped across things. The people that we just approved the donations for, I think they've all prepared presentations for us.
Oh, is that how the process is?
Well,
I am sorry.
yeah.
Okay, so you
So I
want
would
to,
like to hear from them if we can.
okay. Very good. We'll do it in the same order that we did we'll just ask them all. Would somebody from the Winter Resource Center like to tell us why we should give you $10,000? You did that in a committee at some time, but go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
That's no problem. Thank you for having me tonight. Good evening, Mayor and council members. So, as already was addressed, we have requested funding for this year, 2025, in the amount of $10,000. Just to give you a quick preview of our organization and our services, since we have some new council members here and want to talk about the great work that we do. The Winter Resource Center has been around since 1998. We are primarily federally funded by victim services funds. So a lot of what I talk about tonight, a lot of people, it's not in your wheelhouse, is understanding the criminal justice system, working with crime victims, whether it be domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, child abuse, those things. We work alongside with court services, law enforcement, state's attorney's offices, things like that. And we accept referrals from many other organizations and programs. We provide a 24/7 crisis hotline, emergency services, shelter to victims and families impacted by family violence and other crimes of violence. Some of the other services that we provide are safety planning, notifying victims of their rights that are both in statute and through Marcy's Law, locating safer housing options, legal advocacy, protection orders, and navigating the criminal justice system. We as advocates are able to address the immediate safety issues and navigate ongoing issues to help families realize living in homes without violence is possible. We have walked beside thousands of survivors in the last 25 plus years, providing hope, services, resources, and solutions so that they may be able to cope with the abuse and the violence that has impacted their life. This last year, and I provided this information to council members as well, we provided 337 services to 103 new clients. We had 255 individuals come back for more services during the year, which is a very common occurrence in the field that we work in. If they have protection orders or going through the criminal justice system, that can take sometimes 6 months or longer. So it's very often that we spend a lot of time with these individuals and families. Moving on to, I gave everybody a copy of our impact report, which is our equivalent of our annual report for the year of 2024. Last year, we provided 197 shelter days to 2 males, 11 females, 10 children. We also assisted 18 families with housing relocation. So we have a lot of grant-funded projects, and then I write for other grants to address the housing issues that many of them have. And so this doesn't provide funding, you know, on a month-to-month basis. This is very impactful, emergent, and necessary funding. And part of the donation that we receive from the City of Winter is prorated across our budget, just like all of our other grant funds are. So we're not using city funds specific to one. We have to prorate all of our expenses all across our budget and all across our funding sources. So last year we helped 54 individuals with legal advocacy. That's either support during court hearings. We do a lot of protection orders, also safety planning, crisis response. Last year we had, I think, over 35 crisis hotline calls, and that's not counting calls that we receive in our office, because we know domestic violence does not happen during 8 to 5. Often those calls happen, you know, weekends, nights, holidays, things like that. And so we provide not only staff, we share call, we take on call voluntarily, because we don't have the budget to pay for people to do this. And so we take a week at a time, which is challenging for 2 people on staff. I'd like to have more staff. There's just no funding to pay for staff. So last year, I think we had, between our board volunteers and our staff and our other crisis line volunteer that we have, we volunteered over 6,000 hours to our program. And the reason we do that is because we're passionate and committed to the work that we do here. Other things that I wanted to touch on is part of our community education. We provide free education programming in the community. We've gone to Rotary, schools, different organizations, things like that, to educate people on the dynamics of domestic violence, family violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. We often table at healthcare fairs, schools, events, and other places. We've had, I think last year we had one, assisted with the Tripp County Sheriff and the Winter PD when we brought in the domestic violence, sexual assault training. That was really good. We had that at the fire hall. We had a really good turnout. We had several counties come for that, so that was great. And it's really a collaboration between our program, mental health services, law enforcement, court services, hospitals, clinics, social services, child protection teams, all of that. Through our office, we coordinate the child protection team meetings, I guess local interagency team meetings now, where all of us organizations who are all working with families, whether it be in Winter or Tripp County, this in fact is for Tripp County and Gregory County that we coordinate this team effort through, because we're all working in the same counties, we're all working with the same families. And so having that coordinated response to kind of get an idea of all the services everyone's providing helps us eliminate duplicating those services and be able to prioritize funding resources as well. So with that, I thank you again for your support and your donation, even though I'm going to have to come back next month. I won't hope I don't have to do this again, but I will. But I thank you guys very much, because it really does help and does mean a lot. So, anybody has any questions?
Dick, you want to give her phone number so that she can call you up and let you know? Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Flakus. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we would like the representative of T4 to tell us why we should give you some money.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bailey Serve. I am the founder, and this is my co-founder, Andrea Kent. We're both in school right now to be addiction counselors. We went out on a limb and started the T4 Foundation back in July. What it is a foundation for children who have parents or loved ones suffering addiction. We have our own personal stories. I grew up in a home with an alcoholic father who ended up passing away at the age of 47, and I just felt there was a need in our community for the children of addicts. Oftentimes, you know, you're just told to move on with your story, and I think everybody can use it for good. And Andrea herself has her own recovery story, so we're using our power for good. The T4 Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 for families and children suffering from a loved one's addiction. T4 is a donation-based operation. We do have some grants that we have received, but other than that, we're all donation funded. We're kind of, all of our funds, we're repurposing back into the community. We're putting on drug and alcohol-free events. We're working with, we've set up great relationships with the Winter PD, the Winter Jail, the Department of Social Services, what else have we got? The hospitals. So when we come in to those situations, like a mother comes into the ER who is detoxing from drugs or alcohol, and she has her children with her, that's where we get called in. We come in and we support those children by giving them, we have a go bag operation where we put in educational materials, resources, hygiene products. Sometimes we throw toys in there. It just depends on what we get through donation. And then we also set up, you know, we could set up emotional support for those kids too, as their parents are going to be, you know, hospitalized. They could be facing legal issues. They could be facing treatment. So then we just want to make sure that family is taken care of. And that also puts a lot of burden on the significant other. You know, that could be the main caregiver in their family. So we're there to provide. We have great relationship with Bowie's, Ace Hardware. They always reach out for groceries for these families, gas cards, things like that. We work with the sheriff's office for these families. And we're partnered with Main Gate, and that has been the biggest thing for us, because we work at Main Gate also as addiction counselors. So being partnered with Main Gate is able to provide care for the families of the Main Gate clients. We are so grateful for the use of our office down the hall, and we invite you all to come down and take a peek at it. We're very proud of it. Since July, we started, and it's kind of been amazing to see the community support we've had, and we use that office a lot. We take our adolescents in there we work with the Rosebud Tribal Courts adolescent system, and we bring them in there to have a more comfortable space to talk to these people, to do evaluations. You know, when they get out of the system, where are they going to go? Are they going to go into a treatment facility? Are they going home? Do they need outpatient care? So we use the facility for that. And then if the Main Gate clients, you know, might need that extra help of counseling and they have their child, well, then we come in and we'll say, we'll go talk to your child while you get the care you need here. So we use that room for a safe space for the children to come. When they're having a hard day, if their parents, you know, in treatment, incarcerated, they can come do homework in there. We'll just sit, we'll read books, you know, anything like that. Our playroom has been so helpful to several adolescents who just need a safe place to be. And then working along with Main Gate, we've been providing education and coping skills. We were able to go to the Winter School District this last October and do some work with the 5th graders on, you know, education and prevention. And then from August of 2024 to December of 2024, we provided aid to 150 children and families by providing hygiene products, books, school supplies, community resource education, drug and alcohol prevention, and coping skill pamphlets. And in that time period, we try to operate on a 24/7 basis. Our Facebook Messenger, our phone numbers, you can call us in a time of need. We go, and then that's where the 150 families came in there. In addition to aiding local community members, we also hosted a variety of drug and alcohol-free events. In 2024, we hosted our first annual Labor Day kickball tournament, which was a great turnout. We had 7 teams. The local PD, Mitch had a team. The local Ideal Youth had a team. A high school team and several other teams played. We hosted a Unity Walk, a Black Friday Kids Carnival, and then we are hosting, which we're inviting you all to come and join us at the 80s themed adult prom on February 15th. So dress in your 80s attire. We'll have food, beverages, door prizes. There's a formal photo event. We're gonna have King and Queen Best Dressed. So just a fun community event to bring people together that's alcohol and drug free. And then we're also gonna be looking into next year, working in the school district again. We just met with the local DARE provider to do some more in-depth drug and alcohol prevention, and doing assemblies throughout the year, especially for parents to see. T4 wants to push the impact of parent drinking and parent addiction to get that word out, and spread that your drinking and your addictions are impactful to your children for lifelong terms. And I think that's a topic that's not talked about a lot. So that's kind of my passion, is to spread that about, there's more to your addiction than yourself. So I would like to thank you guys for that. We also have the main gate stuff here if you want to hear about that quick. So we're speaking on behalf of Kathy as she's in group tonight. Our group meets on Tuesday nights. So again, she wanted to just say the state of South Dakota will once again be in a budgeting mode for the month of June 2025, and we will be unable to file for funding during this time period. So in July, we'll be able to apply for this funding, but it leaves us in a 30-day period with no income. Our current state funding is $8.75 per hour, or for every 15 minutes for treatment groups, and $35.54 for a CD evaluation, which those are usually can be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. Maingate completed 65 adolescent CD evaluations and 145 adult CD evaluations in 2024. It is of note, we suffered from January 1st last year to about July-ish with a major Medicaid was being withheld, and we couldn't get to the bottom of it, and there really was no bottom of it. It was just a mistake in the system. So we suffered with our funding through that, but we're getting back on. And then Maingate is averaging 10 evaluations per week. We are finally getting our Medicaid payments back for those clients who are eligible. We continue to see a large increase in the adolescent area and submitting them for intensive inpatient treatment. Adult placement and intensive inpatient treatment program has also increased to the increase of methamphetamine. We've also seen an increase in the need for more intensive outpatient treatment, which allows the client to stay home, continue to be employed, and be able to utilize the coping skills they are learning. Over the last 6 years, we have seen a decrease in repeat offenders and have participated in the treatment program. On average, 15 to 20 clients present for counseling in a level 1.0 outpatient treatment. Each week, on average, 18 to 30 present for our level 2.1 intensive outpatient treatment, which is what we offer right now on Tuesdays. We are currently contracted with the Winter Jail to provide a level 2.1 intensive outpatient treatment to the clients who have been sitting in jail for long periods of time. This is a new service that we just contracted this year. We are working on our clientele right now so that these clients, when they are released from their incarceration, they are able to go back into society and use the skills they learned in this class, so they will sustain their recovery and abstinence when they are released. We are currently asking you that you review our current financial data to see if you could provide assistance, which we thank you for already approving the grant. This money also allows Maingate to hire the 2 addiction counselor trainees, which is Andrea and myself, who we are both finishing school right now. I'm working on my on-floor hours. I have my degree. I will be taking my board, hopefully this fall, because I have to have 2,000 hours on the floor, and Andrea is in her first year of school at USD. We are also doing, like I said, more advocating for drug and alcohol with the schools. We're going to try to get a curriculum going for the high school age kids to do, because we're seeing a lot of the community youth using the vapes, the marijuana, drinking. Those are definitely on the rise with the youth here. So there is a need for the education. And we are very grateful for the opportunity to remain in the city building. This has allowed us to grow and provide the needed services to the Winter community. We are always looking to add more addiction counselors. We are needed. There's only 2 of us right now, and we're running ragged. So please feel free to contact Maingate. And with that, does anybody have any questions about T4 or Maingate? I think that's all I got.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And Councilman Clay, I want to thank you for requiring that these people get up and tell us all about themselves. Very good. With that, we'll go to the Winter Area Chamber, which we've been contributing to for more than 25 years. Mike, you're on limited time.
I will go quick.
We know all about you.
I will streamline it for you. But thank you for the opportunity to talk.
I guess, first of all, on behalf of the chamber, and we're right now at 185 members, we do thank you for your past support. I think that's important that we have an opportunity to say that. And I will highlight just a few things, and I won't go over everything that I had planned because we're on a schedule here, but there is a few things I did want to highlight from the chamber this year. In addition to all the events and different promotions that we've done, a couple things that we did this year differently. We did a Women in Business luncheon, which went over very well participated throughout the community, and that was something new that we tried to provide an additional benefit as a chamber to everything else that we've been doing. One of the other things that, I guess I get a little geek about this, but, with our holiday promotion that we do, the green sheets, most of you are probably aware of that, is once I thought, with this program, we need to look at it, it's been really successful. Last year, the year before, we had a record year. This year, we had over 3,400 green sheets returned. That's $300 stamped on each green sheet, with a maximum somebody's able to do is $900, which is 3 green sheets. So if you go buy a combine, you only get 3 sheets. So that kind of shows you the dollar amount. So over $1 million was returned for these green sheets for our holiday promotion, which I think is outstanding. So that's one thing I thought was pretty exciting. The other new thing that we accomplished, our website is one. I didn't get a chance to hand out all of these if you haven't seen them before. This is a Winter Area Chamber of Commerce membership directory. We put that together this year. Writing's not my forte, but I did the best I could, and I think it turned out okay. This is something that we'll have available on digital as well as print, given to new people moving to town, people that have questions about businesses, something that we will flood heavily when we go to Pheasant Fest in March in Kansas City. We will have a nice thing that has our businesses, but also our hunting opportunities and our different things, that be able to have a professional piece that we give out to our new members of the community, both moving here, visitors, and our hunting people coming in for that. I will not go through our year in review, unless you wanted me to, but thank you very much from the chamber. We appreciate the support from the chamber. We're trying to do our best to provide quality of life events, promotions, advertising. We do spend a lot of money on advertising, trying to promote the area as well, so we try to do our part. So I guess on behalf of the chamber, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Are you going to speak for the Development Corporation as well, or is that?
Unless James wants to.
I'd like to hear from James Mathis.
James Mathis.
Real bad cold.
Well, on behalf of the South Central, once again, thank you for the contributions. Just a little thing on South Central, we do have 9 volunteer local business leaders on our board, current board, and myself as executive director. As a board, I think we feel we had a really good year in 2024. I think we made a real positive impact on the local area. Probably just a few of the highlights that we looked at. We did not want to, but we didn't want to see it go away with purchasing of the Winter Advocate. And once again, thank you very much to the city for having an office available and for a nonprofit for us to run the paper. That's been really worthwhile and really helps us keep the thing in positive cash flow with the chamber. So on our behalf in the cities, thank you for that. That's really met a real need to help us out. Another real positive thing that we looked at is the old, you can date yourself, you want to call it the State Farm building, the Joey's building, or the Sergeant's building. So that was a building that was set empty 4 or 5 years, was no movement in it. And with the need of having some types of spaces available on Main Street for businesses, we felt we would take a risk on it, purchase the building, rehab it to a certain extent to get it up to a point of selling, and that has been sold, if you're not aware. The Goodells have purchased that, and they're in the process. It's going to be a beautiful building when they're done. You won't if you're used to going to Sergeant's or Joey's, you won't recognize this building once they get it done. And they'll be open in a flower business. and that will be open, her goal is to have it open prior to Valentine's Day. So I think that was a really good a business to come in at a good time, but also provide another quality business on the second block of Main Street. So that's another thing. The other thing, we've continued to make our contributions for our rural attorney program, Mason, and got a few more years with that. That was one of our helping to recruit a young attorney to Winter, and we've got a few more years of that. We continue to do our facade grant. I know we've given some money. It won't be done till this spring to the Old Ritz Theater to help him with his brick work on the fronts of the old Dean Burger on the old theater. Let's see here. We have our loan fund. We've been very active in that. Our loan volume is up about 10% over last year. We have multiple loans, and we're not a primary lender, we're a secondary lender. So when they have to, go to the banks if they're having some challenges to get over the top to get an expansion or a new business, that's where we come into play. And we've had multiple loans this year. Like I said, our loan volume is up about 10% over where it was a year before. I guess that was probably the main thing. We did sell our building, so we're still looking at the green space that we looked at on Main Street on the corner parking lot, where we kind of put that on hold until we got through our building that we sold, and now we're looking for more that way. So I guess I'll cut it short and say once again, thank you. We do appreciate any feedback from the city and things that we can do to make things better in the community. I know we've been working at Main Street, with the Covey Law Office, the old Joey's restaurant. Scott Peterson's got a new building. We really like that, and I think the Ritz Theater is going to look really nice when he gets that done this spring. And we're just trying to make some impacts on Main Street. So on behalf of South Central Development, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Questions, I guess? Okay. All right. I will leave a couple of these if you haven't got a chance to see these. This is our directory.
Okay. Item number 7.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion for the encumbrance resolution 2025-2.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Motion by Clay, second by Miners, and that encumbrance includes $7,500 for the cemetery. Any discussion?
This encumbrance is just, it's a bill that was, did not get processed until after the calendar year 2024. So we want to make sure that money goes back into the cemetery for projects that we have planned for 2025. It's just money that did not get used, so we want to get it back in the cemetery budget for 2025.
It was authorized to be spent in '24, didn't get spent.
Correct.
Okay, that's what we're doing. Yep, very good. Any other discussion, Councilman? Any questions? This will be a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilman Clay this time.
Yes.
And Miners.
Yes.
And Schuyler.
Aye.
And Shaheen.
Yes.
Very good. Item number 8, claims.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Motion by Miners, second. Must be a lot of money. Clay don't want to say nothing.
I'll second it.
All right, second by Clay. Any discussion on the claims? See anything in there you wanted more money for or less money for?
I didn't see anything that jumped out.
Very good. All in favor to pay the claims, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That motion carries. Do we need to executive session? Okay. Okay. So we do need to go into an executive session on a contract issue. If somebody will please make the motion.
I'll make the motion to enter into executive session for a contract issue.
Motion by Shaheen, second by
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Miners. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we would ask the room to clear.